What's up guys, Nick here, back with another video. If you've owned Salesforce stock over the past couple of years, there is no doubt that you have been thrilled with your investment. It more than doubled the S&P 500 returns over the past 5 years, but recently took a hit after they announced that they were going to buy Slack for $28 billion. I thought now would be a good time to take a look at what actually is Salesforce, what's the stock worth, and should you buy at the current price. So what is Salesforce? So it seems that not many people actually know what Salesforce is and what they do. Salesforce is a company that sells customer relationship management software, also called CRM. In general, CRM software allows businesses to gather customer interactions in one centralized location to improve the business's overall effectiveness and efficiency. The major areas CRM technology is used is in sales, marketing, and service. Sales teams can use it to track leads and notes about their customers. Marketing can use some of those leads to assist with recommending products, and service can use the software to track customers' issues and make sure they get the resolution that they need. Salesforce is the leading CRM company in the world with about 18% of the global market share. 93% of the revenue actually comes from CRM subscriptions, so this is pretty much all they do. They were actually the first company to provide CRM software through a web-based service. Now, I went through some of the reviews to see the experience people had using Salesforce versus some of the other CRM companies. I found that generally CRM companies require very capable IT support systems and can get pretty complicated to run from an IT perspective. I also found that Salesforce Software tends to be more user-friendly for the actual users than some of the other major competitors. Salesforce has 4 different categories of their software: the sales, the service, the marketing and commerce clouds, and then the Salesforce platform. The Sales Cloud provides tools for sales teams to store data, monitor leads, look for opportunities, and gain insight with analytics. They can also manage quotes, contracts, and negotiations through the Sales Cloud. The Service Cloud helps with customer service communication. It helps link agents and provide different communication channels between them and their customers, like messaging, chat, and social media. Service representatives can also track and manage issues. The Marketing and Commerce Cloud can use analytics to put relevant products in front of their customers. They can also integrate the Marketing Cloud with data from the Sales and Service Clouds to better understand what their customers want. The commerce side of the cloud provides a platform similar to Shopify, and they can use their data to optimize the website to show things that their customer is more likely to be interested in. The Salesforce Customer 360 platform allows IT developers to build custom tools for their businesses, so companies without access to programmers can create their own tools. They also have their own app store called the App Exchange, where third-party developers can sell different apps to businesses. Salesforce recently acquired a company called MuleSoft to help Salesforce's various tools share data more effectively. Salesforce announced on December 1st that it's going to buy Slack for $27.7 billion. The goal is to integrate Slack into their existing products and to take on Microsoft Teams. With the start of the pandemic, companies had to rush to increase their employees' ability to work remotely. We've seen companies like Zoom get a big boost from this. On the other hand, Slack continues to add customers, but it wasn't a huge explosion in demand. Microsoft Teams has been the favorite for many companies, and I think part of that is because of the integration with the rest of Office 365. If Salesforce can integrate Slack into their CRM products, I think this will be a great value add. I don't think this acquisition is a huge game changer for Salesforce, but I do think some type of robust communications capability is something their product needs, whether they built it or bought one. One additional benefit to the Slack purchase is you don't have to spend time developing your own, and you get an existing paying user base. So let's take a look at the business performance to find out what Salesforce is worth. So looking at the revenue and net income chart, we can see very consistent revenue growth, but very low net income margins. If we look at a chart showing revenue growth from 2005 on, we can see they've had pretty consistent revenue growth between 25 to 20% for at least the past 5 years. Looking at net income again, we can see that they basically broken even on every year except for 2019 and the current 2021 fiscal year. Now we see this huge revenue growth, but hardly see any profitability. So where is all the revenue going? The full year for 2020 brought in $17 billion in revenue, but only $126 million in net income. The cost of revenue, which are the direct costs of making their goods and delivering them to their customers, was only $4 billion. So this leaves us with a gross profit of $12.8 billion. When we look at their operating expenses, they spent $2.7 billion in research and development, $7.9 billion in marketing and sales, and $1.7 billion in general and administrative expenses. They also had a $166 million loss on a settlement with their Salesforce.org purchase. purchase. We can see that over half of their gross profits are spent on marketing and sales. Personally, I don't think this is too big of a deal. Their 2020 annual report said that they had to increase the number of employees on their sales and marketing team by 36%. This matches with a 30% spending increase between 2019 and 2020. Considering the incredible revenue growth that we've seen with Salesforce, this seems to be paying off. Personally, I'd much rather see cash used to grow the business than spending less and taking larger net income to grow their cash pile. This is assuming though that they already have enough cash in reserve. The balance sheet shows $55 billion in assets and $21 billion in liabilities, which gives us $34 billion in equity. They only have $2 billion in debt. So overall, we do see a very healthy balance sheet with their debt only 5% of their equity. One concern I do see is they reported $16 billion in current assets, which is cash payments that they're owed in the next year. Their current liabilities are $15 billion. Now, current liabilities are debts that they'll owe within the next year. Usually a high amount of current assets to current liabilities, also called the current ratio, is most ideal. Salesforce has a very tight current ratio at just barely over 1%. Going backwards a couple of years, it seems that this is a pretty consistent trend for them. In 2018 and 2017, they actually had a current ratio of less than 1. As long as Salesforce continues to grow like they have, this shouldn't be a big issue. They did report $4 billion in cash in the most recent quarter, and they have almost no debt, so they would have a ways to go before this becomes a significant issue. So let's take a look at the valuation for Salesforce. But before I do that, if you found this video helpful so far, please take a second to scroll down and hit the thumbs up button. I would be really appreciative of that. These videos take about 15 hours for me to produce between researching and editing, and I try pretty hard to make sure that these videos are as informative as possible without getting confusing. Okay, now back to the valuation. Now let's look back at the revenue and net income graph and include the forecasted revenue for the rest of the 2021 fiscal year and 2022 forecast. We can see that revenue growth is projected to continue, but net income is supposed to decline by about $800 million. This year is currently forecasted to earn almost 20% profit margin, while 2022 is projected to have 13% profit margins. I'm more interested in Salesforce growing their revenue than their net income. Most of their expenses are towards things to grow the business and not the cost of making their products or debt repayments. If they need to increase profit margins, these things could be more easily reduced than cutting costs to make their products and to reduce debt. So I'm going to use a growth rate of 23%. This gives us a fair PE value of 74. If you want to see how I get these numbers, click the link in the top right of this video to see my video on that. The 2021 trailing 12 months earnings per share is $3.86. So this comes out to a valuation of $286, which means about 27% upside for the trailing earnings. If we look forward to the 2022 estimates, the earnings per share is projected to fall to $3.74. This brings the forward valuation down to $277, which is still 23% higher than today's share price of $225. So my rating for Salesforce stock is a strong buy. I think they have very consistent growth. I also think their finances show a very well-managed business that funds its growth entirely with money that they've already made. I also think the future is very bright for CRM products in general, with a likely shift to more remote work. Now, as a quick disclaimer, I do own stock in Salesforce. I actually didn't own any until I started doing research for this video because I never realized how impressive of a business they are. I have no plans to sell anytime soon, and if the prices stay low for the next couple of months, I'm going to continue buying. Now, if this video was helpful for you and you want to see more like it, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, thanks for watching.